I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, May the 22nd, brought to you in part by VITALIX. Stretch your profits with every lick. Get the blue tub. Sign up for a chance to get a free VITALIX blue tub there. If you're on NationalBeefWire.com watching this video, click on the banner ad that says VITALIX. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description. Select boxes past $300. For weeks and weeks and weeks, we were wondering why we couldn't get our choice boxes up over $3 or $300, $100, and keep them there. And we just struggled and struggled. And they'd get up and they'd hit it, and then they'd back off. And then just here in the last 10 days, we've seen choice boxes go past $300. And stay that way and gain more ground. Now we've seen our select boxes past $300. And that goes right along with our most recent grading data that shows we've got an all-time high quality grade across the country. Nationwide, choice and better, so choice and prime, the percent of the fat steers and heifers that are slaughtered and they grade choice or better is 84.43% nationwide. Oh my gosh. And 34% of those that are in the choice are in the upper 2/3 of the choice. Now you've heard me say several times, and I'm sticking to it, those of us that learned how to grade livestock and how to use the USDA cattle grades, beef grades, before they come up with camera grading, know that this is not right. They've got those cameras all jacked up. They're grading the cattle too well. I realize the carcasses, average steer carcass weight is like 925 pounds or something like that. And it's big, but only 12.5% of the carcasses of steers and heifers are select. Come on. Come on. That is no way, and that is the biggest farce in the industry right now. Those cameras are owned by the packing plants. They're not owned by USDA meat grading. USDA meat grading can come in there periodically and adjust those and correlate those with how the carcasses really need to be graded, but it doesn't take long before they get right back to where they were at. But it's the kind of thing that nobody's going to complain about because the packers love it, the cattle feeders love it, and the consumers don't know the difference. So we'll continue to take advantage of them. In the long run, it's going to hurt demand for beef because people are not getting what they're paid for. But you just see, you know, people sending in cattle and they grade way over half prime and all that kind of stuff. You know, back in the late 80s and the 90s, whenever I was learning how to use the USDA grades in college, and then when I worked for USDA and was trained how to use those grades, prime was an absolute fluke of nature. You know, unless something had a little bit of Jersey in it, you weren't going to grade it prime. Now they expect a whole load of fat cattle to be prime. Give me a break. I realize the genetics are better. I realize that we're putting them on feed longer. I realize we're making the carcasses bigger. I still don't care. They're not grading that well. I promise you. But usually your grading is going down this time of year. Of course, our carcasses weights are usually going down this time of year because we're actually slaughtering cattle that went on feed as calves, and they don't grade as well, and they don't get as big, but we just keep feeding them and keep feeding them because it's easier to keep feeding the ones we got than it is to replace them. Normally when we see the grades get really well and are high in the quality grade, and your carcasses get big, is whenever we're slaughtering cattle that were predominantly yearlings when they went on feed, and big yearlings like the ones we'll see go on feed this summer. But big carcasses are making a big difference. You know, we're not hardly down at all on our beef production so far this year, but our slaughter is down quite a bit because of tight numbers of market-ready cattle and the higher prices, and your packers, you know, pulling back on the harvest on the cattle. So we're just seeing that, but you know, it's gangbusters on the market. We sold a handful of cattle direct, about as high as we've ever sold them, guys. We haven't got a weighted average yet there, but we're at all-time record highs. Had a big fat cattle auction on Tuesday. Of course, they get the big prices there with competitive bidding. Who'd have thunk of that? But I want to tell you all about that. Coming up later this week on Friday, the Cattle on Feed report will be coming out. We did get the analyst estimates of the USDA estimates of cattle on feed that will be coming out at 2 o'clock on Friday, and they were very bullish. The estimates were bullish. So when we have bullish estimates, it's kind of hard to match that with the report, but we'll see how it goes. But May 1st inventories were figured at 99.1% of a year ago. Placements in April at only 94.4%, and marketings in April way up big at 109.8 in the face of these extremely tight chain speeds. I don't know, and that scares me whenever the analyst estimates are so bullish. Sometimes they're hard to match there. But if you guys enjoy watching this video and you don't always get it, and I get people texting me and sending me emails and messages all the time saying that they're getting locked out on Facebook, they can't watch it on Facebook, they can't get into Feeder Flash Gang on Facebook, and they're not getting my report. Why haven't I done a report for the last 2 weeks? I haven't missed a report in nearly 10 years, guys. Not going to miss reports. Every business day there's going to be a feeder flash, and there's one out there. One way to eliminate that is to text the word flash to 209 Corbett or 209-267-2488. Text flash to that number. Every morning they will send you a text with the link to this report in it, and you can watch it. Let's talk about your board for Tuesday. June live cattle up $1.50, almost 183 at 182.97. Of course, our latest weighted average trade on live steers was over 188.5. We're just now pulling that June live cattle up to almost 183 at 182.97. Still a pretty big basis, guys, and I think we're going to gain more ground this week in your cash market. August up 187 at 180.42. Your back month's up 75 cents to up 132. May feeder cattle up 2 1/4, 248.95. August up $1.35 at 259.82. Those back months are climbing up there with the trends on the far outs, up 145 to up 177. July corn up 1 3/4 cents a bushel at 459 3/4. Beans up 1.5 cents at 1237 3/4. And Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 6 1/4 cents at 707 3/4. How about your fat cattle trade? We did see just a little dab of trade on a Tuesday in a negotiated direct basis there, guys. Iowa had 1,500 head on the market. This is before 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and some live sales from 190 to 192. We hadn't seen 192 really to speak of in this rally. We had just a little glimpse of it there, maybe 191.5. I'm not sure we had any 192 last week anywhere. If they did, it was just an odd load somewhere. But 190 to 192 on Tuesday, direct private treaty sales there. Dress sales from $2.98 to $3, which was steady with last week. Nebraska sold 300 head at 192. That's got to be it's got to be an aggressive regional there that's wanting to get some cattle bought before the trade goes and give a little bit more for them. But we did have the market finder on Tuesday. It was Stockman's Livestock in Yankton, South Dakota. They have that best fat cattle auction in the nation. 1,200 head in overnight. 1,800 head of fat cattle for their fat cattle auction there at a brick and mortar sale barn in Yankton, South Dakota. The conventional fat cattle sold from 183 to 191. That was 2 to 5 bucks higher. The program cattle, either drug-free or non-implanted, sold from 188 to 196.50. That was 1.5 to 5 bucks higher also. That 196.50 was on 81 head of fat heifers that weighed 1520. The same heifers the previous week brought 190.150. It's a 5 buck higher market, guys. Box beef cutout values were higher. Choice cuts up 32 cents at $313.02. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the report, selects up $152 at $300.87. Your slaughter, better than last week, 242,000 through the first 2 days of the week. That's 3,000 more than last week, but 11,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Performance Livestock Analytics. Check out Performance Beef, and you can get rid of the notebook, the double data entry, or the complicated software that you're currently working with. With one easy to use solution, Performance Beef with Performance Livestock Analytics, you can put it all in one easy spot there, as easy to use as your cell phone, for feed, performance, and health records. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, just like your CME cash feeder cattle index, just a day or day and a half quicker. Late in the day on Tuesday, sitting at 246.90, which was up 167, just 3 cents a hundred from your CME cash feeder cattle index at 246.87. Some big sales to check out on DVAuction here on Wednesday is Yankton, South Dakota. I know we just talked about their fat cattle auction. They've got a big feeder sale here on Wednesday, expecting 3,000 at least, and they'll be top quality, guys. View and bid on DVAuction.com. And then down in South Central Missouri at South Central Regional Stockyards in Vienna, Missouri, they've got an outstanding offering of weaned calves there, and I mean the quality will absolutely knock your eyes out, guy. Check them out there on DVAuction.com. Let's talk about your big sales on Tuesday. How about Ozarks Regional Stockyard in West Plains, Missouri? They had 5,200 head through the ring, and then another 600 head, a little more than that, through their in-house video auction they do with help from DVAuction. They're a DVAuction broadcaster there. We're glad to be partners with West Plains Ozarks Regional Stockyard. They do such a good job. And I'll tell you what a sale they had on Tuesday. Was talking to a buyer friend of mine that was there at the sale, and he's been many times. He doesn't always make it there, but he just couldn't believe the quality they had in West Plains. He said he felt like he was in Nebraska somewhere, and he was just a few miles north of the Arkansas line there in South Central Missouri in the Ozarks, and he said the quality was just unbelievable. He said they just keep bringing in ringful after ringful of light 6-weight steer calves weaned, and they're bringing way over $3 a pound. And he said it's just unbelievable. And I've always said, I don't know if I've said it on here before, but I've been following Ozarks Regional Stockyard for about 25 years, since I was a market reporting supervisor there in Missouri. My really good late friend Dave Smith was a reporter down there. I love to go visit Dave Smith, and I love to sit in West Plains at the sale there. But it's the only market I've ever been to that gets rings full of every kind of cattle you've ever seen in your life, from the fanciest to the plainest. And I'm not knocking them at all. It's just because of where they sit on the globe. They get some of the fanciest cattle you've ever seen in your life, and some of the plainest, and not one or two. I mean, ringfuls of them, guys. But you need to keep that in mind when I give you this report out of there, because the steers were 4 to 9 bucks higher. The heifers were 5 to 10 bucks higher, with spots $15 higher. My friend Dan Hill, that reports the market there now and has for many years, He's a good conservative market reporter there, and he knows what he's doing. Gives a good commentary, and I'm going to steal some of his commentary there. He said it was like October in May. Said there was a lot of unweaned calves there. And then, of course, there was a lot of weaned calves there, too. He said the market has just jumped up there and gotten so good, a lot of those local producers decided just to cash those things in before some kind of a black swan comes along or something and knocks that market out. I mean, the cattle are bringing more than they ever dreamed they would already, so why not sell them? And they did. But he said for this time of year, there was a lot of balling calves in there, but there was a lot of outstanding quality cattle that had been weaned, and the owners had planned on turning them out, but they're like, why should I turn them out? I'm going to cash in on this big market. And so they did. But keep that in mind, as because Ozarks Regional Stockyard was your national beef wire stick-out sale of the day. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and keep these prices in mind when you think there was a good many of ballers in there, and then they get some plainer cattle in there too, but the quality was outstanding on this particular week. How about 633 head of 4-weight steer calves, average 461 with a weighted average price of $324.90. How about 873 head of 5-weight steers? They average 554 at $304.74. Wow. 721 head of 6-weight steers in West Plains, Missouri. They average 628 pounds with a weighted average price on all of them of $297.85. So you got to figure a lot of them bring over $3 a pound. How about the heifers? 567 head of 4-weight heifers, average 458 at $290.26. 841 head of 5-weight heifers, average 547 at $270.69. And 387 head of 6-weight heifers, average 636 at $244.26. Outstanding individual, quote, individual sale there from West Plains was 155 steers, weighed 602 and bring 332, the Ozarks Regional Stockyard. How about some individual quotes from all around? How about Denny Rezac Livestock Commission in St. Mary's, Kansas? They sell 59 steers, weighed 939 at $249.75. You could not hardly get $249.75 for some 800-pound smooth steers 10 days ago. And in St. Mary's, Kansas on Tuesday, a load weighing 940 brings $249.75. Wow. How about Kingsville Livestock Auction? Kingsville, Missouri, now offering DVAuction broadcasting too. How about 145 feeders, heifers? They weighed 724 and bring $254.75 for feeder heifers. Weigh 7 1/4 at $254.75. And you say, no, those are replacements. They don't buy replacements in strings like that in Missouri, people. They bring $254.75, weighing 7 1/4 to go to feed. How about Kimball Livestock Exchange? Now, I hope these were for replacement, but I don't know for sure. But 232 heifers weighed 665 off the Trevis outfit. They bring $285 1/4. Like I said, heifers, I hope they were for replacement. I don't know for sure. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come from my buddies up in Beaver, Oklahoma at Beaver County Stockyards. Now, Beaver County Stockyards is going to be having a big special coming up the 18th of next month in June. It's a special we do every summer with Feeder Flash, the Feeder Flash Beaver Clash, and they're expecting a big run for that June the 18th sale. I was talking with Jeff Slatton, the owner and manager there at Beaver County Stockyards. He said that Dr. Rodrigo from Fairpeace is going to be making Beaver County Stockyards a Fairpeace treatment station, where if you're consigning cattle, you would like to treat them with Fairpeace before they go in the ring or while they're filling up. Just run them down through the chute. They're going to have electronic eyes treat the cattle without any stress that way. If you want to do it after you buy them, before you take them home to settle them in, you can do that. So that's going to be exciting stuff. Now, at Beaver County Stockyards on Tuesday, they had all them yearlings that I talked about on our last visit. They were selling 8-weight loads of feeder steers north of 260. But John Griswold from Stillwater, Oklahoma, I realize that's on the other side of the state. That's on the east side of the state. He hauled his fancy 300 head of calves, and I mean he's a seed stock guy. Hauled 300 head of his home-raised calves all the way to the Oklahoma Panhandle. Why did he do that? Because he sells 113 head of 506-pound Sim Angus fancy steer calves weaned for 45 days, and they bring $389. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.